Hi, today we're going to see how to create a fully self-hosted AI voice RAG agent. We're going to use LiveKit, completely self-hosted, but instead of having to code the agents, I've created a software that it's going to make the experience of creating an AI voice agent something much more similar to paid services like Bapi, but the software that I've created, it's completely self-hosted, and you will not have to pay for every call, and you will not have to pay per minute or any type of pricing that software like Bapi establishes, okay? And we're going to use LightRAG, that it's completely open source, as our RAG system. But first, we're going to do a quick demo.
AI agent. What do you want to know?
Hi, I was looking for some information about the 5th module of the self-hosting basics course that I uploaded to the knowledge base, but I can't recall exactly what was about.
Hey there. Got it. You need details on the 5th module of the self-hosting basics course. Great. I'll take a look. Wait a sec, please. Here we go. The 5th module of the self-hosting basics course is titled Coolify, Installation and Application Deployment Basic. It covers how to install Coolify and do basic.
Great, thanks. That's everything that I wanted to know.
Got it. Anything else I can pull up?
As you can see, it used the tool correctly. It's using an MCP server. We'll see later in the video how to set everything up. But here, as you can see, the 5th module is about Coolify. That it's what it was talking about. Great, so we're going to start first installing LightRAG, that it's the RAG system that we're going to be using. You'll have this repository down below in the description, and it's really easy to install. I'm going to order a new VPS just to show you how to install everything in a clean machine, okay? And also I'm going to show you how to install Docker and Docker Compose. So if you do not have already installed them, don't worry about it. These are basically going to install Docker and Docker Compose. Okay, so I'm just going to copy all of them, and please log in into the SSH of your Linux server. Of course, you could also install LightRAG in your Windows machine if you want, or into your MacBook. But in this case, I'm going to use a VPS with Ubuntu. Okay, so yeah. Just make sure, if you are also using a VPS with Ubuntu, to first do sudo apt upgrade && apt update -y. This is just to make sure that everything is up to date and that all the packages are seen by the system, okay? Because maybe if you do not do this, some installation processes are going to fail. Great, so I'm going to clear the terminal, and now I'm going to start with the installation of Docker and Docker Compose. Remember that I have already copied all the commands, so I'm just going to paste all of them, and it's going to start installing everything. It's going to take around 30 seconds to 1 minute. Maybe even less than that. Great, so now we're going to start with the installation of LightRAG itself. Now you have to take a decision whether you want to use a subdomain or a domain to be redirecting to the LightRAG installation, or if you just want to use the IP of your server. Depending on whether you have chosen the first option or the second one, you're going to want to install LightRAG either in /opt or installing nginx with apt install nginx, and then installing LightRAG into /var/www. If you want to have a subdomain or a domain pointing towards your LightRAG installation, you will want to install nginx and then set up nginx for all the redirection. I have actually created a self-hosting 101 course in my community if you want. So if you want to dive deep into this, you have a course here that it's currently just text, but videos are coming soon, okay? So yeah, in my case, just to make it much simpler, I'm going to install it into /opt. And now I'm going to copy this command here, paste it here, and it's going to start cloning all the GitHub repository. Now we can cd into LightRAG, as you can see, and here we'll get all the code base that has been cloned. Now we're going to run this command. It's just going to enable the environment variables that we'll have to set up, and I'm going to show you how to set up. Okay, so yeah, just run this copy command, and now we're going to nano into .env. Great, I'll be copying all the values from installation that I have already working, just to make sure that I explain everything, but don't worry, I'll explain how to get the information and so on, okay? So in this case, you're going to want to leave this as it is. Maybe you want to change the web UI title and description, but it is not really necessary to do that. Then you're going to want to scroll down and stop here in login and API configuration, because we're going to enable auth accounts and token secret. Okay, so just remove these two hashtags. And here we're going to set the username and password that are going to be used to log into the web UI of LightRAG. Just in case, if you haven't seen what LightRAG is this RAG system where you can upload, and it's going to create a map like this connecting all the concepts of the documents that you upload. And actually, you are already available to ask questions to the RAG system, so you don't really need N8N to ask anything if you just want to ask it via text, and it's going to give you the response to the question. But yeah, going back to the environment variables, here I'm going to set the username as test and the password as test, okay? And if you want to have several accounts that can log into the web UI, you can have another user. Here we would set it to test2, the username, and so on. But in my case, I'm just going to leave it as test to make it easy for later, okay? Here you'll have to set the token that you're going to use for the API. Okay, so you'll want to go to a password generator of some sort, okay, and just disable this, just lowercase, uppercase, and numbers, and you can set it to wherever you want. I'm just going to set a 40 character password, so I'm going to copy this, and now I'm going to erase this part and paste the password or the token of the API that I have created. Just to make it easier for me, I'm just going to save this API key in a note. Just to make it easier for me, I'm just going to save the password in a note. Okay, actually, sorry, this is not the token for the API, it is here. Sorry for the mistake. We also want to erase the hashtag here and set the password or the API key. Okay, I'm just going to set it as the same because I think it's pretty secure. Then we're going to scroll down until we reach this rerun binding null, and we're going to remove this hashtag here and also the hashtag for min rerun score. Then we're going to use as our rerun model a rerun model that is self-hosted in Ollama. I have already done a video about how to install Ollama a couple of months ago, so go watch that video if you haven't. You could also use other providers such as Coherence, I think they are called like that provide rerun models and other type of models. Rerun is basically to make sure that everything in the response of the RAG makes sense. Just to explain it without entering into any detail. But yeah, if you have already installed Ollama, I recommend you use the shitao/bge rerunker v2 m3 model. Okay, you'll be able to find it in the ollama.com website. Okay, and here you'll have to set the URL of your Ollama installation. Okay, so in my case, it's going to be 172.17.0.1:11.434. Okay, this will be the same URL if you have installed Ollama in the same server where you are installing LightRAG, and also taking into account that you have installed Ollama inside of a Docker container. Okay, then you'll have to scroll down. Here you can change the summary language. Okay, you can change this to Chinese, French, German, and other languages. And then you'll have to scroll down until you find the LLM configuration section. And here we're going to be setting up the LLM that it's going to retrieve information from the database and craft a response to the question that we have asked. Okay, I recommend you using any fast model because we'll need a model that can craft responses quickly so that the AI voice agent is going to be able to respond in the call really quickly without having us to be waiting a lot of time. Okay, I would recommend you to use, for example, Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay. And here you'll have to set the open router. And here I'm going to set quickly without adding the... And so here you'll have to set your open router API key, or if you want directly the OpenAI or Google API keys. Okay, so in the case that you want to set the exact same that I'm going to set, I would just comment this because we already have an open router example down below. So just to make sure that nothing conflicts, we're going to remove the hashtags here. Okay, and the only thing that it's going to be left to do, it's linking your API key here from open router, and that's going to be it. Then if we scroll down until we find this embedding configuration, this is the model that the RAG system is going to use to process the entering information that we upload to the RAG system, and that it's going to create embeddings. Okay, so since this doesn't require to be quick, because this happens when we upload the file, we're just going to use an Ollama. We're just going to use a self-hosted model just to save a little bit of money. So in my case, I'm going to leave it as Ollama, BGE M3 latest. This is quite good. And yeah, the only thing that maybe you'll have to change is this localhost to the one that I already set before in the rear rank model. Okay, I'm just going to copy it and go back, and now I'm going to erase this part, paste it here, and well, since the Ollama host doesn't require an API key, I'm just going to leave it as it is, okay? And then if you scroll down, you could also add a Postgres database, because by default, if you scroll down, you're going to find the configuration to set up Postgres. By default, it's not going to use it. You can also add Postgres vector storage configuration and other types of databases, okay? But just to make it simple to get started, I'm not going to set up anything of it, okay? Great. So now that we have finished, we can just press Ctrl X, Y, and enter to save the changes and also exit the file. Okay, great. So now that we have set up the LLM and embedding settings, we can just run Docker Compose app inside of the directory where we have installed LightRAG. Okay, and it's going to start the LightRAG installation. It's going to install everything that has to be installed. And as you can see here, the web UI is going to be available in localhost and this port. Obviously, since this is a Linux server and it's not in my local machine, I'm going to have to enter http:// the IP address of the server and then the port. Okay, great. So now I'm going to show you how to upload a file and how everything works out. I am working in the real RAG installation that I've made, not the tutorial one, since I have not entered any API key, okay, in the environment file, but it should be showing you something like this, okay? So just to upload a document, click in the upload button, and I'm going to upload all presentations.pdf. This is basically all the slides of the self-hosting course that I talked about at the beginning of the video, okay, with the RAG agent, and currently is in processing state. It's going to take like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe, depending on the length of the document, because we are using Ollama just to save some money. Of course, you can set up Open Router for the embeddings part instead of having Olama, if you don't mind spending a little bit of money. Just so that we do not have to wait, I'm going to show you how it looks, the knowledge graph. This is basically all the concepts that it embedded. And you can see here the ID, the labels, and the degree of this node specifically is the concept of applications. The properties you can actually, if you click, you can modify the description, the name, the concept, well, the type, the source, the document where the RAG system gathered this concept, and the source ID and other types of, and then the relationships. It is directly related to logs, Coolify, control center, and container. Okay, then if you want to retrieve information, you can go to the retrieval tab and just ask it as you would with a normal LLM. And then it comes the important part that we're going to be using to set up our MCP server in N8N, that is the API documentation. Okay, maybe you want to just check this out, or you'll want to go to my School community where you'll be able to download this MCP server. Don't worry, I'm just going to explain you how to set it up so you don't really have to be inside of the School community, where you'll be able to download this MCP server. As you can see, it's really simple, so don't worry about it. I'm going to explain how to set all this up. Just first look for the MCP server trigger. Okay, then you're going to want to add an HTTP request tool. And here I'm going to show you everything. We'll have to write the description of the tool just so that the AI voice agent knows how, just so that the AI voice agent knows exactly how to use this tool and when to use it. You'll want to select post as the method. Then you're going to write http:// the server IP in case that you have installed LightRAG inside of the directory of OPT. In the case that you have installed Nginx and set a domain or a subdomain, you'll have to add HTTPS in case that you have installed SSL. And then instead of the server IP, you're going to have to add your domain, and probably you are just not going to show the port. Okay. And then the endpoint to make a query is /query, okay? Then you'll have to create two header parameters. The first one is going to be accept application/JSON, and the second one is going to be X API key. And then you'll have to write or copy paste the API key that you have set up in the environment variables, okay? Then you're going to enable sendBody, JSON using fields below, and create a parameter called query and make it so that the AI is going to define the query, okay? Just because the AI voice agent is the one that it's going to craft the exact query. And then you'll have to add another parameter called mode and value mix. This is important that you do it, okay? So don't skip this part, and please do not let the model define this parameter. Then if you want to do another tool that adds information to RAG system in case that the AI voice agent finds something important to be added to the knowledge base while you talk with it, this tool is going to look pretty much the same, only that the endpoint is no longer /query, is /documents/text. You can see all the API endpoints here. Okay, this is the one that I have just shown you, and this is the one that I was showing you now. So yeah, just create the same headers that there were. So yeah, just create the same header parameters that there were in the other one. But here, instead of having the query and the mode, you'll just have to add a body parameter called text, and the text obviously is going to be defined by the model, because this text is the one that it is going to be added to our RAG system. I'm going to show you now how to create AI voice agents with LiveKit completely self-hosted really quickly without having to code. This is the tool that I was talking about that enables you to create AI agents with LiveKit really easy, and everything is self-hosted. In the case that you want to use LiveKit, you're going to have to watch this video to install the LiveKit server into one of your VPSs or into the same VPS, and then you'll have the dashboard for LiveKit agent creation and hosting inside of my school community. Inside of the free self-hostable resources, as you can see, I have added a lot of resources and I'll be adding more. You also have self-hosted scrapers for different social media and so on, and also an outbound system that I've been working on. But yeah, here you'll see an installation guide. It's not 30 minutes long. I just explain how to install it in Windows, how to install it in Linux, how to create a LiveKit SIP, and so on. If you have any trouble with LiveKit, I would highly recommend you use this LiveKit dashboard that I'm going to show you how to use, because it's extremely easy and it handles pretty much everything that it's complicated. And also we can connect it with N8N MCP servers. That's why we have created that MCP, and here you'll be able to download it. Okay, it is completely self-hostable. So once you have the code downloaded, you can do whatever you want with it. You can install it wherever you want with it. I'm not going to have any access to what you do. So yeah, great. So now that I have mentioned this, I'm going to show you how to create an agent. In this case, I'm going to show you what I've added to the RAG agent, but it is the same if you just click new agent. Okay. So I'm going to edit it. Currently, it only supports OpenAI and Google real-time API models. I'll be pretty quick in adding separate STT/LLM/TTS models so that you can set different providers for different use cases, because maybe the voice in OpenAI is not good, but the LLM uses tools really good, or maybe with Google you like the voices but the tools are not used that much and it fails. So that's why I'm going to add this part, but of course you'll be able to edit the code of the agent directly, because this form basically what it does is generate code of an agent, and then you can go there and modify the code directly. Okay. In my case, I'm going to use OpenAI, and here you're going to set a first message. Well, of course, you can also choose different voices. I don't know, Onyx. Here you have to set the first message, but just be careful, because if in the system prompt you indicate that the agent will have to start with the first message that is different from this one here, the agent is going to say the one that you have added in the system prompt. Okay, this system prompt is also going to be available in a post that I'll make in my school community about this video. So if you are watching this video through that post, you'll have the download available there. It's just a .txt file where you'll have the system prompt, so that you can then share it with an LLM and customize it if you want, or you can just customize the owner name, the business name, the time zone, and so on. Okay. Then here in session prompt, I would highly recommend you to say, talk in English, do not use any other language. Because at least with OpenAI, I don't know why, sometimes it's going to start talking in other languages that are not English. Of course, if you want it to always speak German, you can set it to always speak German, French, so on, okay? And then you'll have to get back to the MCP server that we have created and copy the production URL. Okay, and paste it into the N8N MCP server URL. In this case, it doesn't really make sense, but you could also allow for video input to be interpreted by the voice agent. Okay, but if you want to use this, the only model that supports video input, real-time video input, it's from Google Live API. Just make sure to change the model to Google. Okay. Great. So I'm just going to cancel the edition. And if you want to be able to call the agent with your phone, you'll have to purchase a phone number and set up a zip trunk. It's really easy. I show you how to do it from the minute 19 to the minute 25 in this video. And once you have created that, you'll just have to create a new zip trunk, new inbound trunk in this case, because we are the ones that are going to be calling the agent instead of the agent calling us. In that last case would be outbound. Okay, so create a new inbound, write a name, select the phone number that it's going to be assigned to that inbound trunk, and then enable crisp. Okay, and afterwards you're going to head to dispatch rules, create a new dispatch rule. In this case, I have already created a dispatch rule for the inbound trunk. Okay, so just select the agent that it's going to be. So just select the agent that it's going to be responding to the phone calls. Just write a room prefix. Doesn't matter what you want, the name, and then select the trunk that it's going to be assigned to this dispatch rule. Okay, and it's that easy. Now you're going to be able to call the agent from the phone number. In the demo, I have used this testing button just to save up a little bit on credits of the phone number provider. But now I'm going to show you that it actually works with a real phone call. Great, so I'll be leaving the MCP server triggers just so that you can see the changes in real time. So I'm going to make the call.
Hi, I'm your RAG AI agent. What do you want to know?
Hey, I would like you to tell me the contents of the 5th module inside of the 101 self-hosting course that I uploaded to the knowledge base, please.
Oh, okay. Great. I'll take a look. Wait a sec, please. All right, here it is. The 5th module in the Self-Hosting and Open Source 101 course is titled Coolify, Installation and Application Deployment Basic. The module focuses on installing Coolify and deploying applications using it. Got it. Anything else I can pull up for you?
Great, so that would be all. If you want a really easy to use dashboard that it's going to allow you to create 100% self-hosted agents with LiveKit that can also take inbound calls and real outbound calls. In fact, this auto outbound system, it's going to, this auto outbound system uses the dashboard that I've created. So it is actually production ready. So if you want that, make sure to join the community. You're not only going to get access to this system, you're also going to get access to ready-made tools for any appointment setter that you want to create, any outbound system that you want to create, also any lead generation that you want to create with a linking scraper and so on. Also, I'm working on a Google Maps self-hosted scraper. That's going to be really cool. And of course, you'll also have one-on-one support from me if you have any doubt or if you have any issue with creating your AI voice agent. Great, so see you in the next video.